Hey everybody, I'm here with Cristin Smith. She's been in the business for 10 years. She was an independent broker owner for 4 years. She's up in Billings, Montana. Got a great story to tell. We're going to have a good conversation. So here we go. Stick around. Watching that video, I got to get pictures of my Italy trip in there.
Absolutely.
We just got back. Have you seen our pictures? Any of our pictures? I had them on Facebook.
I have. Looks absolutely amazing. And I'm not going to lie, your little video kind of makes me, it's got a little jam to it. It's a good time.
There you go. There you go. So, well, Cristin, good morning. I appreciate you getting on here. I know you're a busy lady up there in Montana. So how's it?
Well, thanks for having me.
A little bit of snow up there, a little bit of cold going on.
A little bit of snow, a little bit of cold. Yeah, it's a good day to curl up, but that's okay. There's work to be done, right?
There you go. There you go. Another day. We're winding out the year here. So tell everybody your story real quick. You've been in the business for 10 years. What did you do prior to real estate? Before real estate, what were you doing?
Gosh, it had absolutely nothing to do with real estate. I'll tell you that. My entire background actually is aviation. I grew up in aviation, got a college degree, and then I thought that I was going to go get rich with a bachelor's degree, and come to find out that's not true. Just fresh out of college. So then I decided to go play for a while. I went and played flight attendant for a little bit, and then decided to just work my way up there, got into aviation management, and then life brought us back to Billings, had a baby, and life kind of was forever changed, and I wanted to have a little more flexible schedule, raise him, not have him in daycare, and so here I am. Decided to dive into real estate, see what that was like, and I've never looked back.
There you go. So 10 years ago, got your license.
Yeah.
Okay. How was it getting started? So what would that be? 2012?
Yeah, end of 2012, beginning of 2013, somewhere right in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How was it at the beginning for you? I mean, getting your business started. I mean, there's a lot of agents that'll be watching this, new agents, seasoned agents, all kinds of agents will see this. How was it for you at the beginning?
So definitely a different time. It doesn't feel like 10 years is that long, but it was really a different time in real estate from where we are today. And I was in Billings. I didn't have a sphere. And so I had used a lot of different avenues to get out there and build my business and talk to people. And, there was some lead avenues that I used that aren't overly productive anymore to kind of build my business. And I went from there. Yeah.
Okay. Did you start at an independent brokerage, or were you at a franchise? Where were you at the beginning?
Yeah, I started at a franchise. I started at Keller Williams when our market center launched here in Billings. And great company. Absolutely. I have nothing negative to say. I learned a lot. Couple years in, I brought in somebody else to help me, which was my business partner, Jana. And ultimately, I always knew, kind of my dream, if you will, going into real estate was to have my own brokerage. That was the end all be all. And so when she came on, we knew that was the ultimate goal. And, paying, whatever we were paying at Keller at the time, we kind of got to a point that we're like, why are we doing this? We're giving out a lot of money without, a lot coming back. And although we learned a lot, it was time for us to move on. Went to an independent for just a little while, and then got to a point that we were able to open up our own.
Okay. Was it just you and Jana? Did you form a team, you and Jana? Did you have a team at Keller Williams?
We did not. No, we didn't. We kind of did our own thing and just went off of, whatever. I would give her leads. She'd pay me a referral. We just did it that way. We never really wanted a traditional team. And when we opened our brokerage, we felt like agents really worked hard for what they had, and we didn't want to take everything from them. And so oddly, our model was actually very similar to eXp. Of course, we just didn't have all the perks and the backing and the resources and all those things. So the idea was to make a little here and there and just have a family-oriented small brokerage of our own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember it all? I mean, looking over the years, what was your biggest year production wise?
Oh
Do you know?
gosh.
Any
Um,
thoughts? Any idea?
I
What is
don't.
an average? What is an average year for you as far as just number of deals, transactions, that kind of
So
stuff?
for me, I am probably anywhere between 3.5 and 5 million a year. I've
Okay,
always kind of kept it right there. Yeah, focused a lot on training agents, focused a lot on family time. Yeah.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Which is important. I mean, what would you say to like the new agents? I mean, right now, of course, it's a different market. What would you say to new agents that are just getting started? Like, what kind of advice would you give to
Oh gosh.
people just getting into the business right now?
First and foremost, I think that don't compare yourself to others. Um,
Hmm.
you have to have your own goals because that's how you're going to achieve them is by making your own goals. But setting yourself up in an environment that you have a lot of support. I see a lot of agents out there, they go to brokerages where they're promised all the things in the world and they don't get them. So they don't really have any backing and just build relationships. And right now, being such a different time, it's so important to take this time to learn and build a solid foundation.
Yeah. What are some good ways to do that?
Oh gosh.
That
You
foundation.
building your foundation, I always tell my agents that you are in the business of building relationships and going out there and doing that. But of course, there's a business side behind that. And so your CRM is so important going in, getting those contacts in there, making sure that you're organized, making sure that you're learning, plug in to your team. And I say team, not necessarily traditionally, but like we have the Freedom Team, plug
Right.
into what eXp has, plug into me. I'm here to help and support. And make sure that you've got everything in there. You're reaching out to people, you're connecting with people, you're sharing things of value with other people. Just get out there and just set the stage for who you are and what you want to do for yourself and for others.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's important. I think don't be the Lone Ranger out
Yeah.
there. Like
Mhm.
and again, I mean, we're blessed here. I mean, Colorado Springs. I don't know what it's like in Billings as far as how many agents do you have in Billings approximately?
Gosh,
Do
at
you know?
one point we had well over 1,000
Okay,
um,
okay.
here in
What's your
Billings. Yeah.
population? What's the how big is Billings?
I'm going to say we're at 120,000 or so people
Okay,
here in Billings.
okay.
So it really was a lot of agents per capita. Yeah.
Right, right. And we're like that here. I mean, I mean, I
Mhm.
don't know, Colorado Springs, 350,000, I think. Yeah, maybe a little higher than that now.
Okay.
Countywide, it's big, I don't know, 700,000, but we've got, 4,500 agents for,
Right.
something like that. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be interesting to see here at the end of the year, what the numbers look like. I mean, how many people,
Right.
don't renew, their
Mhm.
memberships with the board, by the end of this year. I'm not sure. There's a lot of people getting out of the business or
Yeah.
having a hard time with the business. I think it's important. You mentioned that. I think it's important to who do you surround yourself with.
Mhm.
I learned a lot. If I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room. I learned that a
Absolutely.
long time ago. I need
Yep.
to be around people that are going to take me to that next level. So I always try and get around the right people. I
Yeah.
tried to do that early on. So I've been doing this 21 years now, coming up here, my 21st anniversary with it. But I remember 6 months
Mhm.
into it, I got plugged into a good coaching program, and it cost me a lot of
Yeah.
money, but it took my business to, way up here. I mean, I was
Yeah.
top 20 in town in 2.5 years in my business, and but it was because I was around these people. How so again, like for the new agents, don't be the Lone Ranger.
Right.
Get yourself around the right
Mhm.
people. I think
Yeah.
get
Absolutely.
it, plug into as much training as you can.
Yeah.
And I think try and do some of that outside of business hours. There's so much available online now. Like, what
Mhm.
would you say? The most like how do you structure your day? How or maybe how did you structure it back then? It's probably different now. But again, those
Right.
first couple of years,
Um,
what'd your day look like typically?
so I would love to tell this amazing story that I got into coaching and I had this great time block schedule and all those things. I didn't, and it took me a long time to figure out that I needed to do those things because
Okay.
it was easy to just run around like a crazy person and do things and do things and do things, but you were never. It was not constructive. You kind of just
Yeah.
chased your own tail.
So
So
easy to do
now
in this business.
it really is,
Yeah.
especially when things are really busy, you really, are just kind of, you have to do what's coming at you when it's coming at you and take care of people. And so I still do that to some degree. We all have to in this industry. When something needs to be done, it comes up, we've got to address it. We have to handle it, take care of our people.
Right.
But I do time block out things now. And so whatever that looks like, whether I am placing in my education for the week, whether I am every week, I'm out there with, be it a lender, a client, title company, whatever, I'm connecting with them. I'm having a coffee, I'm having a cocktail, lunch, whatever. And so I make sure that that's in my schedule every week. I have my to-do list time. I mean, it's pretty broke down so that it is constructive and I'm making some actual progress in the day.
Right. Okay. So 6 years or 4 years ago, you started,
Yeah.
right? You start your own brokerage.
We did.
So
Yeah.
went straight to that. What was the name of the brokerage?
Simply Real Estate.
Simply Real Estate. Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like getting that going? I mean, I think there's that progression. I think a lot of agents out there, they just, again, if they wanted to grow their business, I think typically the progression, they go onto a team or they start a team, and then
Right.
maybe from there go to brokerage. You skipped the team part, went straight
Yeah.
to starting your own brokerage. What was that like at the beginning? With that.
So, oh gosh, you're so proud of yourself. I was so proud of myself. Jana, we
Sure.
were proud of ourselves. We've done this, we've built, we have our little group of people. It was intimate, it was family-like, it was everything we wanted. We had our
Mhm.
storefront, our big sign, and all the things, we kind of like this the sign of like we made it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was great, and we loved what we had. We loved our little office, and yeah, so it was great. No complaints about getting there and what we did and the feeling that it gave us of accomplishment in that
Okay.
moment, in that moment of time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. What would you say? What's been the biggest challenge, like having your own independent brokerage?
Yeah. So the biggest challenge truly, we had a vision, and of course the vision is, all good things and butterflies and roses and there was a lot of that, but there was also the other piece of that, the accountability, the liability, constantly just having to make sure that you're covering yourself. It's your license. You want to make sure your agents are out there representing you well, falling
Right.
within the parameters of the other guidelines, not only statewide, nationwide, but yours too, and your expectation of representing you well. And so there was just a lot of training, a lot of liability, and we spent a lot of time bogged down in the auditing and training pieces of it.
Okay. Okay. It can
Yeah.
take you away from your business. I mean, in terms of the money
Yes,
making
it
piece of
does.
it
Yeah.
sometimes. How many agents did you have with you? I know it was a small brokerage. How many,
Yeah,
like, what was the biggest it ever got
I'm gonna say there was
for yourself?
seven of us
Okay.
total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nice, just, boutique brokerage. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when did you see EXP? When was that?
So not very long ago. So I'm gonna say we
Yeah.
saw EXP in April, May-ish, somewhere.
Okay.
Very reluctantly, I saw it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Kelly
Not
called
gonna
you, right?
lie.
Kelly Fasterling. Is that right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Kelly reached out to you. She's an agent here great agent
Yeah.
here in Colorado Springs,
Mhm.
financial advisor, background,
Yeah.
whatever, doing real estate as well. So she reaches out to you,
Yeah.
and again, reluctantly, you
Yeah.
were, which I get it. You were hesitant to look at it. Did you look at it right away, or
Uh,
did it take her a while? Several
so
talks before you actually looked at
it took a few attempts. Her assistant kept reaching out. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'll get back to you. No, thank
it. Right.
you. And
Sure.
because why would I? We owned our own brokerage. I've got my sign on the door, my
Hmm.
pride, and joy. And I was making 100%. I own my own brokerage, right?
Right.
Why?
Right.
Why would I want to talk to anybody? I worked really hard to get here. Yeah.
Right.
So, but obviously, I had the conversation.
What was your initial reaction?
Initial reaction, obviously, was the structure was so similar to what we already had in place
Okay.
with a lot more support and a lot more tools. But there was still that wavering of why would I do that when I worked so hard to get here?
Hmm.
So that was kind of our initial thought.
Okay. Tell me
Yeah.
that process then. How many several weeks of digging into it? A couple
We
months? What was it
we
like?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, from there, having the initial conversation, thought about it, was open to having an additional conversation, really did a lot of just research on the company itself, took the time to speak to the state broker who I knew from before. Billings isn't that big, and having that conversation with him of what that looked like, what his role is, and just making sure that it was a company that I actually even wanted to be a part of.
Hmm.
I never thought I'd go back to another. We're different, obviously, not that franchise, not the market center, but going back to another big company, that was not what I wanted.
Right,
So,
right,
yeah. Yeah.
right. So now you make the move over. Your agents
Mhm.
came with you.
Right.
What and so how has it been since
It's
you've been here?
been it's been so good. When we really sat down and started looking at everything, we realized that not only could we give ourselves more, but we really wanted to be able to give the agents more. And it didn't have
Mhm.
a lot of impact because those monthly fees, they're low and the tools are abundant. You're never going to run out of tools, you're never going to run out of support, you're never going to
Yeah,
run out of education. And so we really looked at that and just kind of had to surrender to, okay, it's not just about the 100% because we also saw that market shifting and we saw that overhead and what it was doing to our pocketbook. Production's
yeah,
down, overhead's not changing. So we made that transition. The agents, it's worked really well for them and it's worked really well for us. We're plugging in. I don't know. I think I've told you this before and told Kelly before that I kind of feel like I hit the lottery a little bit. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, and I did not understand the importance of what group or team you were on within eXp. I had no idea. So I
yeah,
feel very, very lucky that I landed
yeah,
where I did. And my
yeah.
agents too.
Right. Talk about that for just a second, because I do, again, we've worked really hard. I mean, when we came up with, myself and Sean, Eric, Kathy, Tim, we all worked together kind of, and really came up with this whole idea, like, let's create Freedom Team, and we thought long, I mean, this wasn't just pulling a name out of a hat. Like
Yeah.
we really, like, because again, I think, we come into this business and we want to be our own boss. We want to run our own schedule. We're going
Mhm.
to work the hours that we want to work, all this kind of stuff. Well, then you start building your business, and after a while, like, all those things kind of go away and there's no freedom
Uh-huh.
left, even though
Nope.
that's what we got the business for.
No.
That
It
can
runs
happen. And I think,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think that when we came up with this whole idea and this name Freedom Team, I mean, that means so much to me in the sense of wanting to help agents be
Mhm.
able to live the life that they thought they could live when they got into this business, and be able to
Mhm.
make more money than they've ever made because of the way this
Mhm.
model works. I think it's been such a win. I know for me, I've been, my 5-year anniversary is coming up here in February
Wow.
with eXp, and
Yeah.
I've never even thought about looking back. It's been
Right.
unbelievable. It's been good for you guys so far, a win-win for you and your agents.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I just with what EXP gives back to us, there's just so much value and so much opportunity to build and provide an exit strategy. And I kind of love that it's a win-win. You invest in them, they invest in you, and it's just a win-win. There's
Right.
nothing to lose with a basic brokerage model behind it. They're not trying to take all your money,
Right.
and it's amazing.
What kind of plug would you give the Freedom Team? Because you said
Oh
you felt like
gosh.
you hit the lottery, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I love that every day I can jump on there. You guys are doing something of value, whether we're talking about more transactions, which of course in this time you can always learn something from somebody else. And what I love is that camaraderie, a sense of almost family within our family that we've built. That was something I really thought I would lose. How I don't know. We only had like 7 people in our office, right? But I just thought, how
Right,
can I connect with people? It's virtual. This is so silly. I can't connect with people. And
right.
I feel like I've known a lot of you forever. And truly, we've met a couple of times in person. And so, but I can jump on any day with you guys, know that we're going to have this just simple, to the point, honest conversation. You're going to help me. I'm going to help you if I have something to offer. And it's great that you guys offer what you do. And outside of what's set every single day with Freedom Team, you guys as leaders, our Freedom Team have always opened it up to call us, utilize us. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. And that's just something that you don't get everywhere.
Yeah,
And it's huge.
yeah, for sure. And for you as a broker owner, I mean, and so you kept your name, right?
Yeah, we did.
Still
Yep.
Simply Real Estate,
Yep.
now brokered by eXp. which
Correct.
the public. So
Mhm.
and that's one of the things I think, what would you say to other independent brokers who might be looking at this? Because again, in this market, I would not want to I wouldn't want to have the liability. I wouldn't want to have the overhead of being an independent
Right.
broker with a bunch of agents in my
Mhm.
office, all those office fees and the staffing and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. None of those bills go away, unless
They
you start laying people off and cutting corners where you got to cut. I mean, all that kind of stuff. I mean, this market can be challenging, this shift. What
yeah,
would you say to other independent broker owners out there who maybe they've never seen eXp, they
yeah,
don't want to look at eXp? I built my brand, I've got my
right.
thing, I'm 100%. I mean, again, I get
Mhm.
it. I totally get it. What would you say to somebody like that who might see this video?
So what I would say is don't be me. Don't let your pride get in the way and just have a conversation. It's worth your time to have a conversation. And if it's not for you, that's okay. But you
Mhm.
can run your business exactly like you were, but do the things that you love doing. Supporting your agents, watching them grow, giving them tools, giving them resources, and be there for them every step of the way and still have time to run your business. Uh, EXP doesn't take that away from you. I'm still Simply Real Estate. I'm brokered by EXP. If and when I need our state broker, he's there. But he's always told me, you do what you do. You know what you're doing, and I will always be here for you and your agents. It's really that simple. And
Yeah.
so I didn't have to give up my name. I didn't have to give up what I was doing. All I gave up was liability and was able to give more tools. That's truly what I
Yeah.
gave up. Yeah.
It's a
And lay
win for
off
the
it.
agents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The
I
overnight.
think, yeah, one of the things, I mean, and I think one of the things that happens sometimes, I mean, again, I genuinely think most of the broker owners out there, they care about their agents.
Right.
They
Yep.
do, and so they feel very protective of their agents. And I think with
Mhm.
this, it's like you still can meet with your agents on your, if you have a Monday morning meeting every week, you can still do that. You can still do
Yeah.
all the things that you've been doing, but now
Mhm.
you can provide them with so many more tools, so
Yeah.
much more training than you could ever give them.
Absolutely.
It's going to
Yeah.
help those agents so much, but then they can all get ownership just like you with
Absolutely.
the stock bonuses, whatever.
Mhm.
They can all become owners now of EXP and whatever.
Yes.
And then they can also expand their borders. You're not just limited anymore to
Right.
Billings, Montana
Mhm.
in terms of Simply Real Estate. Simply Real Estate in the next couple of years could be 300 agents in, 20 states across the country. You still
Right.
have your little group here, but now you've got this, and
Yeah.
everybody, it's such a win for everybody. And your agents can do that also and participate in that and participate in the revenues that come in from
Absolutely.
those agents. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just so powerful when you
It
see it.
is. And for them to understand that they can build their own business with your support. They aren't building just my business anymore. They're building their own, and they're
Mhm.
getting back, and they are building an exit plan for themselves now, not just my exit plan, their exit plan too. And when we opened our brokerage, we didn't want to take everything from them because we know they work hard and we wanted them to
Right.
build for themselves, and now they can.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, any last thoughts? Anything? And let me ask you one other thing. With the market shift right now, what are you seeing? How are you? Like you're training your agents up there. You got your agents. What are
Yeah.
some things that you're seeing as far as the shift and how you're adjusting to that? Anything you want to throw
Yeah,
out there?
it's a big one, and so I keep telling the agents, "Don't get discouraged, don't give up, dig in." This is the time that things are slower, and you have the ability to dig in, work on that foundation, make sure that it's solid, um, educate yourself. You can't have enough education, and surround yourself by others that will boost you, that you can learn
Mhm.
from and do great things with, and, because this is the time, it is a shift. We all know this time of year is usually a little bit slower anyway. Now it's a little extra slow, but it's gonna come back. It will, and if
For
you're
sure.
staying plugged in, it's gonna be fine. Now is
Yeah.
a great opportunity to really dig in, and you're gonna do great things.
For sure. It's a great time to grow. It's a great time to grab market share. I think to some degree you can specialize in different areas, I think, and get
Yeah.
some certifications maybe that you wouldn't have
Right.
maybe had time to do earlier because you're so busy with things and whatever. Like, we had a mastermind this morning. It was on divorce,
Yeah.
and real estate. And it was awesome. I mean, we had a real estate attorney on there, a divorce attorney on there, and she was
Mhm.
sharing a bunch of things and then these designations that you can get because again, like, and not to be, I mean, not to be harsh about this, nobody wants to see any of that. But I mean, let's face it. I mean, the stats are the stats. I mean, 50% of marriages end in divorce. And if there's
Right.
real estate involved, it's like they need help getting through that. And
Right.
so to specialize in that, that's going to go on, whether there's, no matter what the interest rates are, no matter what the market is doing.
Yeah.
There's that. We had a mastermind, a couple of months ago on probates and
Right.
estate sales, whatever, which I've never thought about focusing on that. Like there's a way to, the one guy, we had the guy that was on here doing our mastermind. He did, he's doing 40, 50 deals a year on probates.
Wow.
Again, like that's recession proof, I mean, not to be morbid about that, but there are there's just niches that you can do, and you can start learning some of these things in some of this time that we have extra time, and really come out of this, way ahead, and have some specialty, things that other agents just haven't even thought about doing,
Yeah, I
So,
absolutely agree.
yeah. We had one a couple weeks ago. I want to share this. I don't know if you were on there or not, Kristen. We had there was somebody shared, Mike Rosenbu was on. He's out of Nashville, and he shared about how he called up several nonprofits and went to meet with them, and just, here's the one he's interested in, and you go meet with them and talk to their financial director, whatever, find out what they do. Hey, I want to support your nonprofit. I'm a realtor. If anybody, he ends up meeting with like the staff of the nonprofit as a result. So he puts it out there, learns about what they're doing. Any of you that, if I ever get a referral that mentions your nonprofit, I will give $1,000 donation to your nonprofit after closing as a thank you, whatever. And I mean, he made the point, like, I'd much rather give $1,000 to this nonprofit that I really care about versus $1,000 or even more, a 25% referral fee to some corporation that's going to send us deals.
100%.
You can do that. But again, to go meet with some of the nonprofits in your town, but again, this is the power of, again, Freedom Team and that mastermind concept, like ideas getting thrown out that 21 years in this business, wow, never thought of that, never thought of that, never thought of that. Like, again, still growing, still learning all the time. And there's just a power in that, so. Anyway.
Yeah, it's absolutely mind-blowing. It really is, and we talked, about what's something that's worked in your market that we've probably never tried in our market, and vice versa. And having people on there, when we get on there from all over the place, there are no borders. And so getting on there and, hey, we tried this, in my area in Florida or in Colorado or in Montana. And it's just amazing. It's truly just amazing group of people, amazing company. I just have nothing but good things to say.
Definitely. And your liability's gone. You can sleep better at night.
It's gone. And my overhead. The overhead is gone.
There you go. And I want to emphasize too, there are people out there with independent brokers with offices. You don't have to get rid of your office. I mean, that's just, again, but it might open that door for you to do that down the road if you want to,
Absolutely.
But there's a lot that keep their offices. It's kind of a misnomer. Oh, eXp has no offices. I mean, as a company, no, we don't. But there's a lot of agents that do, and you can do that if you want. So,
absolutely.
But anyway, great for the independent broker owners. We've had over 400 in the last 12 months. They think 1,000 in the next 12 months are going to be coming this direction. So anyway, it's such a win-win for the broker and a win for the agents, and they care about the agents. So at least look at it, take a look at it, and evaluate it for yourself, is what we're going to tell you. So guys, if you're an agent, Kristen, or an independent broker, and Kristen, reach out to her and let her, answer your questions about this, give you a good presentation on eXp. It's worth a look just to see, is it a fit for you or not? If it's not, that's fine. But I'd be surprised if it's not, if you really look at it and dig into it, the way Kristen did. So any last thoughts, comments before we wrap it up, Kristen? I appreciate your time getting on here.
I don't think so, Jeff, but I really appreciate you inviting me on today. And I'm just always thankful for you and for Freedom Team and just everything.
Well, we're excited to have you on board. We appreciate being a part of it. So you're adding a lot of value to us as well. So definitely appreciate it. Guys, if you're on YouTube, you can hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the comments anywhere on any of the platforms. Ask any questions. Kristen or I will get back to you with any answers if you have anything for us. But we appreciate your time. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here soon. Okay, take care. Thanks, Kristen. Have a good day.
Jeff. Bye-bye.